I've been watching a lot of the photography audits for quite a while now, and something that comes up a lot is the police or security trying to intimidate people, force people to comply with their will, all sorts of things. Just want to focus on this to start with, and that's harassment. I've noticed that a lot of you aren't really bringing it up, so I'll just read out the definition given for harassment. Harassment covers a wide range of behaviours of an offensive nature. It is commonly understood as behaviour that demeans, humiliates or embarrasses a person, and it is characteristically identified by its unlikelihood in terms of social and moral reasonableness. In the legal sense, these are behaviours that appear to be disturbing, upsetting or threatening. They evolve from the discriminatory grounds and have an effect of nullifying or impairing a person from benefiting their rights. When these behaviours become repetitive, they are defined as bullying. Just focus on the last little bit there. Nullifying or impairing a person from benefiting their rights. When these behaviours become repetitive, they are defined as bullying. So there we go. Do you have a right to be in that place? Yes. Do you have a right to use a camera? Yes. Do you have a right to withhold your information? Yes. Are they nullifying or impairing you from benefiting your rights? Yes. Therefore, they are harassing you. You have the right to be there. They come over and tell you to leave. Well, you have the right to be there. They're impairing you, benefiting your rights. They are nullifying you, benefiting your rights. They are not allowing you to benefit your rights. That is a clear-cut case of harassment. Legally, they are harassing you. In the eyes of the law, they are harassing you. That is what harassment is. Is it reasonable at any time in your life for a person to walk up to you and tell you, move, go away, don't be in this place? Well, no, it's not. Unless you're somewhere where you really shouldn't be. Might be the case you're walking along, someone's walking in the other direction. They say you're going to go down that road. You say yes. They say, well, don't bother, there's been a stabbing or something, the whole road's blocked off, you can't get through. Well then, yeah, that's reasonable. Someone's giving you advice. Your right to move freely, your right to travel in that direction has been hindered by a situation, therefore they're giving you advice not to go that way. But aside from those kind of things, or your neighbour might say, oh, you're travelling along so-and-so road. And you say, yeah, I know, been a crash up there, there's 10-mile tailbacks, might as well go around that way. That's reasonable. But for someone just to approach you out of nowhere that you don't know, for no reason, and tell you, you cannot be in a place where you have a right to be, well, then that is falling into the section that says characteristically, I keep struggling with that word, identified by its unlikelihood in terms of social and moral reasonableness. So there's no moral grounds on which they can say, I am taking your right away from you. You know, it's not socially reasonable to behave in that manner towards you. I don't think enough people are really understanding the reality of the point where it becomes harassment. These people are genuinely harassing you. If you have the right to not give your name, you have the right to not identify yourself. There's no law says that you must carry ID. There's no law says that you must produce ID, because there is no law that says you must identify yourself when requested. So again, you have the right to withhold your information. Then the last line, when these behaviours become repetitive, they are defined as bullying. You know, there's the reality. Security guards are bullying you. The police are bullying you. They definitely are harassing you because they are nullifying or impairing you from benefiting your rights. Something that people really need to sort of start looking into. It's I don't understand how people can't understand that you have the right. You know, it's like they just don't understand the law and they're meant to be enforcing the law. Another thing that seems to happen with the police quite a lot is when you know the law, you quote the law, and you're attempting to uphold the law while asking them to uphold the law, they'll say that you're behaving suspiciously. Well then, if it really is suspicious behaviour to know the law, quote the law, uphold the law, then surely the police are the most suspicious people in society, because they chose to get paid on a daily basis to know the law, quote the law, uphold the law and ask for the law to be upheld. So surely they must be viewed with the most suspicion if that really is suspicious behaviour, because they choose to do that. Because of the way the law works, and us having the potential to be treated as criminals or our behaviour to be criminalised, we then need to know the law. When you divide the needs and wants, they want to be in that position, well, we need to know the law. So surely they are the most suspicious people on earth, if that truly is such suspicious behaviour. But then let's reverse it. Let's say you didn't know the law, you had no idea of the law, no ability to quote the law, then you can't uphold the law. And so you get stopped speeding, or you're not wearing a seatbelt, or you're actually doing something that is against the law. Is it a defence to say, I didn't know that was illegal? No, it isn't. It doesn't matter. It's your duty to know the law. Alright, so if I don't know the law, it's my fault for not knowing the law. So then I have to know the law. But when I know the law, I'm in trouble with police because I do know the law. So if I don't know the law, I'm in trouble. If I do know the law, I'm in trouble. Seems like they're just looking to get you for anything they can, doesn't it, really? You know, if you look at it realistically, with any kind of rational balance, any kind of logic, any kind of fairness, if you don't know the law, you're in trouble. If you do know the law, you're in trouble. I think that's called cognitive dissonance, where you hold two completely opposing views. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't see how they can't have the logic to see it themselves, that they can behave in such a ridiculous way and not have the capacity. How can they be that inept at logic, at reasoning? Because they have to have some level of reasoning to be able to deal with people, to deal with a situation. You just, you know, your average police officer is too inept to be a police officer, yet they are a police officer. And you see, that's the reality. They wonder why they don't get respected. It's because they don't behave in a way that draws respect. You know, they use their authority. 1 second. Troy? Shh. Troy. Shh. Leave it. Sorry, the dog's just barking. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, respect. It takes ages to earn. Authority can be given in a signature. And then how you wield your authority will vary as to whether you get respected. So they're there in a situation, and they jump out of a fancy car, you know, like in their fancy dress with their badge, and all they want you to see is the uniform, the badge, and they want you to subjugate yourself to them and be submissive to them and obey them because they have the badge, the uniform, the car and weapons. But then when they get assaulted, when something happens to them, all of a sudden they want you to see past the uniform. People need to understand that we're people with feelings too, and we need people to see past the uniform, because we're just these vulnerable, fragile little people, and it's so scary out there dealing with criminals. Really? Well, if you're so fragile and vulnerable, why don't you take a step back and change your behaviour a bit? It's like saying, bad cops get good cops killed. You know, it's a reality. They don't want to understand it. You know, it's just this constant sort of schizophrenic thing of two completely opposed mindsets, two completely different people. Respect me, respect my uniform, respect my badge. You should be only seeing my uniform and my badge, and you should be behaving in a way that satisfies me, or I can do something to you. And then all of a sudden, I'll see past the uniform. See past the uniform. See me as a person. It's absolute rubbish. They're crazy. That's why they don't get respected, because of the way they wield their authority. Their authority isn't a result of respect. Their authority is a result of a signature. No, literally. Someone signed that, now you've got authority, and it's a lack of power in their life that they use their position, their title or their role to achieve empowerment. But empowerment through a role is not power itself. Authority is not respect. So they're these people who so crave power and respect, but then they take their empowerment through authority and behave in such a thuggish, bully, horrible, nasty, detestable way, and then they wonder why they don't have respect and why people render them powerless. It's because they're turning up in a situation where they don't really have any power, and they're using their empowerment and their authority to try and create some kind of a status over you, expecting you to submit to their will. And you see it so many times, where people say, do I need to give my details? No, but we want you to. You're on company time, mate. Your wants don't matter. You do what your duty says. You fulfill your role, which is all about need, necessity, requirements, obligations and law. Your wants of self-satisfaction are secondary. You know, and that's all it is. It's like dealing with a child. But I want it, I didn't want KFC, I want McDonald's. But I want it, but I want it, but I want it, but I want it. Why won't you respect me? I think it's quite clear why you're not getting respected. Because you're standing there like a little child going, I want, I want, I want, I want, I want, I want. But I want, but I want. And if you don't satisfy my wants, I'll get physically violent towards you and I'll assault you and then I'll kidnap you and I'll drag you to a place where your rights will be further violated and no one will listen to you making a complaint. No one will let you make a complaint, and then we'll try to lock you up somewhere and we will inflict upon you. So if you don't allow us to harm you by violating your rights, we'll harm you worse in another way, basically. If you don't let us harm you in the way we want to harm you, then we'll suddenly want to harm you in another way. Now respect us, please. You know, it's ridiculous. How messed up in the head are they? It's unreal. And the security think they're police who behave that way. People don't understand that a role is a restriction. You take on a role, you're then restricted, because you have to perform within the boundaries of that role, and that role limits you from certain rights by taking on that contract. Like, staff may have signed a contract to say that they won't take pictures on that site, but you as a member of a public on public ground not entering into that site aren't bound by that contract. That policy doesn't mean anything. You know, they have no right to come to a public place and try and use their company authority to overpower you. At that point, again, we get back to it, it becomes harassment. And there's the reality, just the basics that you really need to understand, that everyone really needs to take on board. The effect of nullifying or impairing a person from benefiting their rights. That is harassment. So your rights stand before the law. Your rights were there before the law. The rights are given at birth. Your rights exist because you're a person. Policies don't mean anything. Contracts don't mean anything. Your human rights stand above all. And that's what you have to understand. But yeah, if you bothered to listen to me ranting, thank you. If not, I guess there's no point saying anything to you because you're already gone. But if you're still here listening to this, thank you for your time, and I don't know, I hope the world's a nice place for you. I just wish it was for me, okay?